Okay. I never was a club person. I did used to go from time to time. And the reason why I stopped going to clubs for, for various reasons was I get to thinking, okay, I'm at the club listening to the music that I've heard, getting up in the morning to go to work, hearing the same music while I'm at work, when I was working in the office, and hearing the same old music when I come home. And then, not to sound cheap, which I was kind of thrifty back then, well, I still am, but the matter of just the fact that I would say, wait a minute, why am I buying these drinks and I got this stuff at home? I'm up here wasting my money and wasting my time. I could go home and listen to the same music and everything. If I want some people over, have some people come over. We can do what we do at the club, and it's very economical. But anyway, that was back in the day. But now that there's another club that I've been at, because and everybody else has been in this club at one time or another. And but you check it out and see if what I'm saying is true. This club that I'm talking about it's not exclusive club. It's not where it's just the elite or just a certain clique go to or anything like that. Anybody can come to this club. It's not capacity controlled. It's not the fire marshal saying, "Oh, you got too many people in here," uh, and it's not. And they don't even have a last call, so you have to go to an after hours place. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When you're still partying good and everything, but I just gotta get that last little groove in. I have to go somewhere else and get it to get my last little shot. But in this club, it welcomes all, and I do mean all, regardless of who you are, as far as your race, your socioeconomic background, your political or spiritual beliefs. It doesn't matter. And the added bonus to this club, even though, like as compared to a literal club, when you leave the literal club, you go home and you leave the club behind. But with this club, you can take it home with you. You can take it anywhere you go. I mean, anywhere you go. I mean, it's this club. It could be 24/7, 365, 366 on leap year. It doesn't matter. You can take this club with you. So you talking about? I know some of y'all clubbers want to know what kind of club is that? Where can I find it? It finds you. It finds you. And let me give you the name of this club. Since some of y'all are so excited about it, we'll see how much excited about it once you get in there. This club is called Club Resentment. And I thought I kind of knew what resentment was, but when I looked it up, it says it's from the French word resenter, Ressentire, and it literally means intense feeling. And in English, it says it is resent and refers to feeling bitterness and indignation due to injustice or insult. People may feel resentful when they are cheated on or stolen from or lied to. Resentment is often a reaction to being insulted or having one's errors or weaknesses exposed. So you see in this club, this club resentment can produce a lot of emotions, bitterness, strife, uh, and a host of others, and anger. And today we want to concentrate on the anger part of this resentment. Let's just use some examples here as far as resentment. Let's say you at work. Say you at work. Okay, you do your job, you do your job well, and not that you're looking to move up or even looking for accolades, but then you see people who they do less than you do. You really pulling the load, and they getting all the congratulations, this and that, and then you start feeling a certain kind of way. And that resentment can turn into anger. It can. It's real easy if you don't have the right perspective on, like, because I'm talking from experience here. I remember I was when I worked in the office. I did the office like 20 something years before I went back outside. And I know in the latter half of it, I was working with a person who was always gone. They had a position in our union and they was always gone and so forth. But they was always taking the credit for doing work. And they had been gone for so long they didn't know how to do it no more. But they were still taking credit for it. But I didn't worry about that because I said, because we're on two different levels for different different reasons. We were on two different levels. So that was their excuse for saying that why they didn't know the job and but yet they would take credit for it. But I didn't care because the bottom line is when they looked at the orders that I did, my name was on it if they took the time to look at it. So anything we would do in the system, your John Hancock is on there. I don't care if you made a mistake and try to get out of it and do something else, there's still something there to let you know. So, but not even that, they didn't get promoted or anything like that. We were still on the same level and everything, but I learned not to take it personal, but there was other things that were done, and you might can relate to this on your job, where things were done to you, someone talking about you, even though you're the hardest worker, or not even the hardest worker, but you do your job and you're doing it right. But there's always somebody there that's going to say, "Oh, no, he ain't doing it right," and they don't even do the job at all. They don't know how to do the job. They don't want to do the job. You have to be wary of that because you don't want to get caught up in getting in that club. You go in there with that anger. You're in there partying angry. Yeah, I'm in here. Yeah, I know. I resent that person. I really do not like them at all because of what they said or what they did to me, or I see what they do to other people. Keep it in perspective. Let's keep everything in perspective there. I learned to just do what I got to do. And people will say, keep your head down, just do your job. I did that. I wouldn't expect anything. But what you don't notice is people are watching you. So when I had recently announced my retirement, when I did it at work, when I did it with my email, I remember one old coworker told me, she said, they were happy for me, da 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 da. But she said, you know what, your silence in the workplace spoke volumes, and your demeanor. They knew. In other words, she was trying to tell me I was cool about what was going on around me. I didn't let that affect my work life, nor did I let it affect my personal life. I mean, there's times I might have went home and told my wife certain things, and everything, and I might have been a little tick for a minute or two. But the bottom line is I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do. Because the bottom line is, whatever they come at me about is because of what I didn't do or what I did do, not because of somebody else. So we have to always keep that perspective. So I never even thought about that. I never said anything. I mean, it was times I did raise my voice over certain things, about some things at times, but it was few and far between. And I don't want to get into this one argument I had. It was crazy. It was over some pizza at work, but it was, it just kind of ticked me off because of the way I was approached about it. As much as I like food, I wasn't gonna hog all the pizza, especially since I didn't pay for it. But somebody tried to get me in that club, which I did get it. I did put my foot in there and got in there again, and because it did tick me off. Because you're not gonna tell me what I can and cannot eat. I'm not your child. And I mean, even my boss said, he looked around when he saw us going back and forth. He said, "I thank y'all for the pizza," and he left because he didn't want to have nothing to do with it. But anyway, besides with that, you know, it's just so many things. Just like in the church with your friends. At your job you have cliques too. And I never was in a little clique when I left my one position, because me and three guys. But after that, I was like a lone amigo, because I didn't, it was just, I like everybody, but I kind of kept to myself and everything. So I try to keep myself, even though I know I was about this club resentment then, I might still have some then, but you don't really notice that you're in the club until it could be brought to your attention. So I was in the club for a good while, for years, decades, lifetime. We all kind of go in there like this and that into that club. We do, because of that anger, because of that anger. But the main thing is, you don't want that anger to turn into sin. There's a difference. You can be angry. There's nothing wrong with being angry. God got angry. In Psalm 7:11, I'm out of the NIV, everyone. It says, God is a righteous judge who displays his wrath every day. But he didn't turn into sin. There's nothing wrong with being angry, because we get angry about race relations today. And as long as we don't turn into sin, like getting violent and everything like that, we're okay. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way for a time. I mean, you can be mad about the political structure today, or the previous political structure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can still be angry about it, but just don't let it turn into sin. Oh, you had something to say, Chris? Huh? Oh, okay. Well, feel free. You have some good thoughts sometimes. Thought-provoking thoughts. Doesn't matter what your age. God might have put it in you to say something, but if you do, feel free. Feel free. So, even though God got angry, he didn't sin against the people. He didn't even resent the people. Just like when he destroyed the earth with during Noah's day, he said he regretted. He didn't say he resented the people. He said he regretted the people he created. So it's a difference. It's a difference. So we have to keep that in mind to make sure that when we get angry, I know, Deborah, you're going to talk to me later about that. Sometimes, when I get angry, sometimes, I may say things. I don't do things. I may say things, but the thing is, I don't want it to turn into sin. And sometimes you can say things that could be sinful, it's hurtful. The last thing I want to do is be hurtful to somebody, but sometimes that anger wells up in you. We've all been there. We've all been there doing our life. We've all been there doing our life. So we got to be careful with that. So it's like I said, it's nothing wrong with being angry, but you keep it contained. Hit it and quit it. Not set it and forget it. Hit it and quit it. And go on. And go on. Okay, in the home. You get few resentment in the home. I'm sure there was times when my girls was at home, they resented me. I used to punish them, and sometimes they still talk about it. I make them write sentences. I didn't use the rod that much, but they thought that was worse than, they really got a whooping than the right. And matter of fact, my oldest still talks about that to this day. She still rather do that, much so. But also, the way you treat your kids. They know when you're angry, and they know even if you were to punish them, like whooping them, it's not a sin. We're instructed to do that. You know, I mean, no, we don't make it a habit of every little thing they do. We're gonna whop them and pop them. No, it all depends on the severity of the incident. And I remember my oldest had said one time. She said, you know, I heard her tell somebody this. She didn't tell me. She said, you know, my dad was so hard on us about our homework, because I used to go over their homework. And I would, if I saw an answer that wasn't a question that wasn't answered, I asked them. I said, why didn't you answer this? She said, well, I didn't see the answer. I said, now I'm gonna look for the answer. Now you know what I'm gonna do when if I find the answer, and either they'll go ahead and take the paper back and look it up, or they'll leave it with me. And if I found it, I go back to them and say, I found the answer. Then I tear their whole homework up. So you got to do it all over again and come back to me with all the answers. They used to get angry with me about that. But I remember hearing my oldest say, you know, they helped me when I went to college. I really was paraphrasing. I really started digging deep to find out, you know, what I need to know, and why can't I find this answer? Let me research more so I can get it. Now I'm patting myself on the back of what I did, because I didn't go to college. You know, I am a high school graduate. I'm not just for Blvd. I went past the 6th grade. But the thing is, I want them to be the best that they could be, to do better than what I did. And sometimes you have to push them to do that. I wasn't being mean or callous. I just wanted to give them an idea of how the world is when they get out there on their own. So they'll tear your work up and throw it away. Don't tell you to go back and find the answer. They just keep you stuck right in that one place. But I had to make sure that my anger, even though I would get mad at them, like they got mad at me, well, angry, that they would, or that we would make sure that didn't turn to anger, that anger didn't turn to hate, resenting me for doing what I did. I'm sure they did, but once they realized, like my daughter said, how that helped her in the long run. But that's just a few examples. I know you all have your own about home. And no, that's right, Mama Greer and them here. She probably remember them days. They probably called her and told on me. I know. But I wanted them to be better than I was. I mean, because I studied in school when I was in high school, but I didn't really apply myself like I should have, you know. And I never thought I was college material, so I didn't go to college. But I want them, I wanted to see in what I saw in them. I want them to get to their full potential. Sometimes it didn't matter if they got mad at me, or I should say angry with me. It's okay. I knew what my motives was. I knew what I wanted, the objective I wanted to get. So when if God chastises you, you might get angry for a minute, but stop and think about it. Well, at least He loves me. He could let me just go on, kept doing what I'm doing, and go on into this destruction. It's just as simple as that. He could leave you alone, or He could help you along the way. So keep anger in perspective at all times. Don't let it get to the point where you want to sin. You want to sin. And even with your family, I'm talking like your siblings, your cousins, same thing. Some of us are successful. They might make a lot of money. They may do this, they may do that. They may not be bragging about it, or they may brag about it, and that can cause some resentment, which in turn can make you angry. But how long you gonna let that anger turn into sin too? What you gonna do? You gonna try to sabotage their career? You gonna try to sabotage their reputation? You gonna try to sabotage their standing in the church? I don't want to do well. Yeah, we can still say church for right now. I like to say your place of worship. instead of saying church, but we are the church. Let's just say your place of worship. And then even with your marriage, you know, I had a thing with a lot of guys. I had a thing with, you know, my wife makes more than I do. You know, I can, you know, I was in that situation too. I did something I didn't even realize, but sometimes my wife made more than I did because of her profession. But I didn't look at it as I can't remember ever getting angry about it. I just remember just saying, well, we got more money. We got more money. Right. Not she got more money, or if I'm making more, I got more money. We got more money. More money. You know? But a lot of spouses, it could be male or female, will get angry about that. Well, I got the college degree, and he don't. He's making buku more than I am. Okay, so it's our money. Your just think about it. In you drop the Y, it's our. Your money, and she would say, my money is your money. You drop the Y, we put together, it's our money. Ours. But a lot of people can't see that, and they'll get angry. They'll get they make it turn to sin. They'll belittle that spouse. You think you better because you make more money. They don't. You have that mindset, especially if it's a lot of cases if it's the man. Well, I'm the breadwinner. You still are the breadwinner. Okay, so you make $5 less than she do a week. But our money together, I'm in charge of making sure what gets paid, what we use for entertainment, and what we put away. It always worked out. It can always work out that way, y'all. It can always work out that way. And then with our own selves, y'all, we can resent our own selves. We can anger ourselves. I ain't did this right. I didn't do this right. And I'm 100% one that I can actually say this because I said to myself before, I'm not this, I'm not that. I can't do nothing right. I can't almost do nothing right. I'm not even half getting nothing right. It's just that, you know, we put ourselves down and we make it turn to a sin that we revert to things that we shouldn't be doing. You know, it could be, well, I don't meet up to her standards, or he don't meet up to my standards. And what's the word? But anyway, you probably try to find something to do to make yourself feel comfortable and feel comfortable in the sin that you might commit with your anger. You don't want to do that. Yes, we do beat ourselves up sometimes. We do beat ourselves up. But you know what? The beatings always stop. If you stop it quick enough, or even stop before you start beating yourself up, just take time and relax. Think about what you said, what's going on and everything. It's not that you, on some point, I would say you don't hate yourself. Some people might do that, but I'm saying on average, you don't really hate yourself. You know, you beat yourself up. But we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. The best thing to do with a mistake is to correct yourself. Just correct yourself. Now, in your place of worship, you know, I have a thing, I call it, I had to change it because I know my mother-in-law is the mother of the church. So I say the some mothers of the church syndrome, where, you know, I remember one mother of our old church, she was always talking about somebody is too fat, somebody dress ain't below the knees, you know, and their hair is looking all whatever. And you know, I mean, you know, they had that syndrome, but it's not just the mothers of the church. I should say the some mothers of the church. Come on, girl, I want you to think I'm talking about you. You know, with that with the mother of the church. But there, you know, but not it's not just them. Other people had that syndrome too. Like, who they think they are, walking in here and they've been whoring around, hoe hopping and all that stuff. Like my mom used to say, uh, and she old flea bag, and he's this, he's just a hoe hopper and all that stuff. And the thing is, they come into church to get cleansed, and here you are trying to push them back out. That's why I always said, and you know, in my opinion, the last people that'll forgive you for all of the sins that you've done is people in the church. People outside will say, "Oh, we're so happy that you changed your life around. We're going to miss you." Some of them will say that. Then you come into the house of God, and they still condemning you. And here you are trying to clean yourself up. You're trying to clean yourself up. Why ain't you helping them? So y'all coming into that club. Get back in that club. Y'all get back in that club getting angry. Because in the scene, you up there, I didn't want to touch on this right now. Uh, you know, you being an accuser of the brethren. They trying to clean yourself up. And you watch yourself, you in the club too, doing the same thing. Maybe not what they're doing, but you killing somebody's character. You murdering somebody's character. Why? Celebrate that they took that step to come in. Okay, they don't have the clothes right now. They may not have the clothes right now. And what you doing about it? You gonna go to the store and get them some clothes? Are you? Will you? Or if you can't, why don't you and some other brothers and sisters in the church chip in and buy them something? Show the love of Christ. Show the love of Christ. Just show it. You ain't got to say a word. Just show it. Show it. But all these things, you know, to get you angry, to keep you in that club. You know, the club that's 365, 24/7, 366 on leap year. You know, you still in there dancing and thinking you all glorified and high and mighty, and you above everything, and you right there in the club with everybody else. Watch yourself. It's easy to get in that club. Don't let that anger turn into sin. Don't let that anger. You remember nothing else today. Don't let your anger turn into sin. Nip it in the bud as soon as you can. Nip it, zip it, whatever. Get rid of it. And you all know how to get rid of it, but we'll get to that. I'm getting like my wife, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, I'm sorry. So we can't equate God's anger with our own experiences of emotion, because, like we said earlier in Psalm 7:11, yes, he gets angry. He gets angry, and we may not see his wrath every day. Somebody sees it. Somebody sees it, but he does it out of love. Is your anger out of love? Is your anger out of love? You know, we need to heed in Ephesians 4:26 and 27. Let me read that. It says, "In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. And do not give the devil a foothold." So they got an idea of who's the proprietor of that club resentment. Yeah.
This is a really good scripture the Lord took me to when I was dealing with a lot of anger.
Mm-hmm.
It's in James 4:1.
Mm-hmm.
We start in James 4:1. It says, "What causes quarrels and what causes fights among you? Is it not this, that your passions are at war within you.
Yeah.
You desire and do not have, so you murder. You cover and you covet. I got glasses on. You covet and cannot obtain, so you fight and quarrel. He says, you do not have because you do not ask, and you ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly to spend it on your passions.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were times when I realized how I was getting angry, and it wasn't because I was so angry at what somebody else was doing. It was because I wasn't being, in my mind, I wasn't being treated fairly. You were talking about sometimes on the job, when you know that you're doing the best that you can,
right.
You're giving 110%, but you're watching them celebrate other people that you know are not. Because it's almost as if they're rooting for them to win. And they don't have what you have, which is Christ.
Right.
And the Lord led me to, you're persecuted because of your relationship with me. They don't want you to win.
Right.
Because you represent light and not darkness.
And
so as believers, until we understand that, they're never going to want you on their team because they represent that dark side. They want the dark side to win. It's that world mentality.
Yeah.
But the Lord took me to Genesis 12:1, and he says, son, if you make my name great, like Abraham, I'm going to make your name great. So don't worry about what they say. Don't worry about what they do. You keep making my name great and watch how I elevate you. But like you said, don't become angry. Don't become bitter. Don't become resentful. It says when they persecute you, don't worry about it. Love them anyway. And keep loving them all the way to the top, because the Lord will take you to the top.
That's good. That's good. You know, when it says, I was thinking about, don't give the devil a foothold. He only gets a foothold when you let him. When you let him in. Some of you already heard me say this before. I like that quote from the movie The Devil's Advocate near the end, when Al Pacino, he's being Satan, and Keanu Reeves is the lawyer and everything that he's trying to get to turn around and do his bidding. And I always like this quote because he says, Al Pacino was saying, I only set the stage, but you pull your own strings. God always tells us about, through his word, the enemy snares and traps. It's nothing new. He may put a new spin on it, but it's the same old trap. Now you can see it. You can be enticed by it. But that enticement, that's up to you. How far let the enticement go? Do you let it go on, or do you dismiss it? Do you dismiss it? Because I remember seeing, I remember going fishing when I was a kid, and I remember, how we did the old fashioned. My grandmama had the old bamboo pole, and with a line, and we had a little hook with a little float, and she would put a night crawler on it or her dough balls, and she just put it out there. And we weren't professionals. We wasn't moving it around nothing. We just let it sit there, and the fish would catch onto it with a little perch. And so she said, "Oh, he's too little." He was enticed by the bait, so she threw him back. And as a matter of fact, she still had the night crawler still on the hook. She threw it back again. Guess what? That same little fish came back and got caught. She said, he's just too little. And it's the same one, because you can see where he was kind of bleeding from the mouth. So you can see that the hole was getting bigger. So she threw him back. So she threw a pole back in there again. And y'all know that same little fish came back. And this time, she took him off the hook and threw him in the bucket. She said, well, I'm going to cook him anyway like a little cookie. He didn't have much meat on him. I still remember how it looked. I seen him fried in the cornmeal and everything. And she said, I like this little cookie. But it kept coming back. It kept getting enticed. You would think after the first time, and you was given an area to escape, I ain't going back there no more. I may be hungry and everything, but I'm not gonna fall for that no more. But that's how some people do. They keep coming back. The stage ain't changed. That hook still had the same old night crawler on it. And it still came back. Still came back. I remember I was watching a guy named, I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is Cal Idleman. I like to say, I like to say where I found information from because I don't want people to think I'm stealing their stuff. But I was listening to him the other day, and he made a good point about your resentment that, we will say just anger. He says, you don't want to create episodes of your anger. You will have to have your own entertainment channel. What he's saying is, okay, Kim, you pissed me off. I'm mad. Now I could be I don't want to do no copyright thing. I'm an app now. I got an app that you can stream and watch it. I can stream and watch it anytime. Episode 1, what Kim did to me today. Season 1, episode 2. This is what Kim's still doing to me. I like his analogy about that because it's true. It's true. Then also you got your own app. You ain't got HBO, you got DBO, you got Darren Box Office. You got LaShawn Liu for Hulu. It's just you got your own network. You got Keelan flicks. And you can have as many seasons as you want in there. And as long as you keep going back and rehash, go to the on-demand. Well, let me look at season 4, episode 3. That was the episode that really got me with her or with him.
Right.
You keep that all up in there. You better go back to the real stuff and watch some wholesome stuff. And I'll not just watch it, but also put it in your head and put it in your heart. And when those things come up, you start dismissing it. And then another thing that he also said too, if you're not creating episodes, you're hoarding it. I know you all seen the show Hoarders, where but you do that. You can do that with resentment, with anger, with people. I mean, you can have a whole warehouse full of stuff from way back in your childhood. I had a warehouse. I had to start cleaning my warehouse out. We all had the warehouse. I can speak for myself. I know it was in my warehouse. And the thing about it on them hoarder shows, you look at somebody, how can they find something? You say, well, get me a can opener. I'm just saying as an example. They know just exactly where to go get the can opener in that big old house that they're hoarding. Yeah, listen.
Oftentimes, what people don't realize and the resentment of hoarding and playing that offense over and over again, it stops you from moving forward.
Right.
You get stuck in the clutter, physically and spiritually. So you can't progress. You can't move where God wants you to move. And that is really a trick of the enemy, but you don't see it because you feel like you're entitled to what you're holding on to. Mm-hmm. That is yours and you have control over it and you stay stuck in it.
Yeah. So everybody clean your warehouse. Mm-hmm. We ain't got no little shack. Everybody got a warehouse. I can I can attest to that. And I'm sure you all got a warehouse too. This is a lifetime of stuff. Yes, sister.
I like the word that Aaron used earlier because it's a word that we often use in deliverance, and it's network. And so there is a network of spirits or demons or whatever that keep you in that place. So when you start feeling like you're in a cluttered place, there's going to be another spirit that step in and say, wait a minute, no, 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 no. This person did this to you. You have the right to be angry. You have the right, if your clutter represents something, you have the right. So every time you try to break out, because the spirits work in groupings or they network with each other, they can tell one, tighten up your grip. But when you decide that you really want to be Christ-like, it's almost like you Superman. You go into the phone booth and you like bust out because old things are passing away.
For real? Yes, you do. But think about it, y'all. Thousands of years ago, they said the end of the times is near. Take the moment to think about that. That was said thousands of years ago. What about now? Time is shorter than we think. It's real short, extremely short. So, do we have time to be staying in that club if we want to profess to be followers of Christ, lovers of Christ? Do we have time to stay in that club with all that anger? But there is another club. It's just the same. It's open, as we say, 24/7, 365, and 366 on leap year that you can join. And it can do the same thing as the other club as far as following you home when you leave. Well, you take it with you. They do have different admission requirements, but you still can come as you are, but you won't leave as you were. And, some people visit it every now and then, but then they want to go back to the old club. And we all have that pull to go in the old club sometime, but we have to remember that new club is a better club than we all need. And y'all know what club I'm talking about. I gave it two names. Well, I gave it three names. I called it God's Kingdom Club, or the Kingdom Club, or Club Jesus. You can take your pick. It's all the same. Because in that club, you have the opportunity. It's your choice if you want to stay there. Like in the other club, you want to stay in there and just stay in that one state being angry to the point where you're going to sin. But in the Kingdom Club, I'm just going to say the Kingdom Club, okay? The Kingdom Club is always open for you. You can get your spirit cleansed. You can refresh your spirit. You can learn. You can grow and deepen your love for Christ. But once you be in that club for a while, you ain't gonna want to go back to the club resentment. I ain't got time for that. I'm not getting all worked up. It's not affecting my health. It's not affecting my family, in a negative sense. Health-wise, like I said, it's on the positive, because when you're angry, there's a lot of things. Blood pressure go up. It can affect your organs, it affects your appetite, all kinds of things. But when you come to the Kingdom Club, it's different. You be calm. You be at ease. It's like you've been in an oasis, like you done came out the desert. And here's an oasis just for you. All the refreshing water that you can drink, all the food you can eat, which I'm talking about spiritual food and the spiritual waters that God has for us. So some people say, well, I can't go from one club to another. I don't club hop. And some people do. You see, I mean, you can see that. You got people that go to their house of worship today. Their club hop. Sunday, maybe Saturday, they work, maybe Sunday, Saturday, whatever day you use, but mainly Sunday. But I just hop over to the Club Kingdom. The rest of the week or a couple of days, I'd be at Club Resentment. You shouldn't club hop. Because one day, club's gonna close and you're gonna be stuck. Which would you prefer to be stuck at? Club Resentment, where you can spend eternity being angry? Or the Club Kingdom, where every day is a new and refreshing day. Bright, sunny. Just, in my opinion, I won't have time for anger. I won't even be thinking about anger. I will be looking for anger. Ain't nobody can say nothing to me. Like I always say about Charlie Brown, he always said, y'all ain't gonna spoil my Christmas. You ain't gonna spoil my relationship with the kingdom. I'll take that little tree and fix it up and be proud of it. That's the best I can do. I'm happy. As long as I'm pleasing the Lord. If I please him, he's going to please me. He's going to please me. But whether he pleases me or not, yeah, Mom Vera. Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you shouldn't let nobody steal your joy. Instead of asking you how do you get it, they want you to be in the same boat with them. That frogs in the barrel mentality. Why are you happy and I ain't happy? But when you happy, you don't care if I'm not happy. So don't let them steal you. That's another Charlie Brown thing too. Like I said, they can steal my Christmas. You can steal your joy. So that joy could be eternal. What type of eternal joy that God gives you? That he wants to give you? Just go to Club Resentment and find out. And stay in Club Kingdom. Quit club hopping. Quit club hopping. So some of the ways that we can get from there as far as anger is concerned, from Club Resentment to Club Kingdom, I had some scriptures here. But before I get into that, one thing I did forget, when you get to Club Kingdom, like I always said, one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible for me, everybody should have their own favorite scripture, your own personal favorite. Or you could have more than one. My favorite one is Psalms 55:22. I love that. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the part I like is it says, cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. Some versions said, throw your burden, but cast is the same thing. You still cast it out like you're casting out a net. But he wants you to give it. He wants you to give it to him. If you come to Club Kingdom, he'll take it. All your woes, all your disappointments. He said, give it to him. It ain't no choice. It's already been paid for. It's been paid for with his blood. He's already paid for that. And he asked you to give it to him, but you still want to hoard it. You still want to start another season of episodes. And he says, give it to me. It wasn't no footnote saying, give it to me, but you got to do this. You got so many down payments. You got so many this payments and this, and that. It ain't like that. He just said, give it to me. But yet we still hold on. I've done it. And sometimes I find myself still trying to do that. And I said, wait a minute, I ain't got to go through this. You don't have to go through that. Nobody has to go through it unless you want to. Even the enemy can't make you do it. It's you. He didn't tell you to ask the enemy, can you cast your burdens on him, on the Lord? No, Lord told you directly, cast it on me. Forget about him. Who is he? Who is he? Where you can't make a decision. Let me give this to my God. Take this burden off my shoulders. I can't deal with it. I can't take it. I don't want this no more. I don't need it. And if you want to resent something, resent that. Resent that burden. Pick that stuff up and throw it. God will catch it, and that's the end of it. And one thing I always say too, when you give it to him, quit holding a little pinch of it to yourself. Let it go. Let it go. I mean, when I do, or whenever I speak again, I may always bring that up. We gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. But once you let it completely, give it to him, or he'll move in and take care of it. He'll clean up. Like I said, he'll cleanse you. He'll refresh you. And how will he do that? Reading his word. And how will he do it? You have a personal relationship with him with prayer. And don't keep it to yourself. I'm not talking about your own problems, but when you see somebody going through, tell them where they can get rid of it at. For good. If they really want to get rid of it, give it to them. Tell them where they can find it at. He wants you to tell other people about him. He wants you. Don't think it's just left up to the preachers all over the world telling everybody this, that. It's on all of us to tell us about the goodness of God. It's for all of us. It's to do that. We're commissioned to do that. Go out. I mean, it could be somebody at the grocery store, somebody on your job, somebody you see on the street. I'm not saying go to somebody, hey, I love Jesus. You want to know how to love Jesus? I'm not talking about that. God will show you an opportunity. He'll show you an opportunity. I know there's times that I've missed out on something. To this day, I do have that regret. But I always told the Lord, I said, next time I see an opportunity, I'm going to make sure I'm going to take advantage of it. Because I need to tell somebody about you. So they don't have to cry in public no more. They don't feel bitter or angry and commit a sin. We're all, lost the word again. Well, we're all commissioned to do that. That's something you don't keep to yourself. Because if it makes you that happy and you bursting with joy, you can't help but telling somebody. You just can't help it. You just can't help it. And also, I just have y'all, y'all can just read 2 Corinthians 5:15 through 19. But it's letting us know that when we come to him, we don't, it's basically saying like if we come to him thinking like the world, but we want to think like him. We want to think kingdom. We don't want to think world. But we know who's the ruler of this world. We know who the ruler is. So we try to learn the ruler's rules and the ruler's knowledge. It's time to take on kingdom knowledge. kingdom knowledge carries a lot of weight, and it carries you very far. Because eternal life is, as it says, it's eternal life. That's what you want. You are going to spend eternity somewhere. Why not spend it somewhere where you're happy? Why not spend somewhere you're happy? But there's other scriptures I like to give you. You can look at it up on your own about how you can get out of this club, what you can do when you're angry. You said, oh, did you? Okay. It's Proverbs 15:1. Proverbs 16:32. So this will help you with your anger. I'm sorry I didn't have time to go through them all, but you can look them up yourself. It's Proverbs 29:11, James 1, verse 19, Ephesians 4, chapter 4, 29 through 32. They just to help you to, a lot of us let you know that just think before you talk. Even your anger, if you can take that one moment, just that one moment, it can make a difference between life and death, whether it's you or the person you're talking to. You know, a lot of guys are in prison today. They're saying, if I only took that moment, if I only took that moment, I'd still be walking the streets. I'd still be walking the street. But everyone, come on into the club. Club Kingdom, that is. Come on into the club. It's waiting on you. Take it home with you. Take it home with you. Take it home with you. Everyone, thank you today for listening and dropping in. And they'll put up on the screen about our schedules and what we do. And looking forward to tomorrow with the men. We always have a good time with the men. Now I like to boast. Hey, we're national now. We're not local anymore. We're national with the men's empowerment. So if you know anyone who may want to come on in, just go to DREEMM.org and get the information. And we can take it from there. If you contact us, we'll take it from there. So thank you, everyone, for listening today or coming in. And I hope you have a blessed week. And just remember, come on over to the club. Now you know what club to come to. Oh, and by the way, a quick thing, Sister to Sisters tomorrow night. Is that what, 7? At 7? Is that it's gonna be live? I mean, we'll have it here at the center at 7 o'clock. Sister to Sister, Men's Empowerment tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It'll be here at the center, but we'll also be virtual too. That's why I said we're national. So all of you have a blessed day. May God be with you. Come on to the club.